Okay. Hello, I'm Clinton, and the culture I chose for my culture box is Taiwan. As many of you might know, as I plan on going and teaching English there after I graduate and having a little adventure. My so a little bit about Taiwan before we get started is Taiwan is a small little island off of the southern belly of China. It is humid and tropical. It's very beautiful and amazing. Let's see. The island is approximately 13,000 square miles and has a population of 23.34 million people. So, um, so 23.3 million people. Those people actually live in small areas around the island. Similar to Japan, it has a mountain range going down the spine of the kidney-shaped island, so the populations are highly concentrated along the outside rim of Taiwan. Their capital is Taipei, which has 2,700,000 people approximately. So a little of historical background is originally Taiwan was known as Formosa. I don't know where the name switch occurred, but during the 17th century it was owned by the Dutch, and then in the 1900s Japan occupied it during World War II and set up a lot of the industrial innards, it set it up so that when the Republic of China, essentially when they arrived, they could just progress into the new era of industrialization. But a little bit about how the Chinese came to occupy and culturally dominate the area. In 1949, in the 1940s, China was in the middle of a civil war. There was the Republic of China versus the People Republic of China. The People Republic of China essentially were the communists, and the Republic of China they wanted like democracy and to continue their way of life. Obviously, they lost. They, after losing the war, would flee to Taiwan and to be able to maintain and continue their way of life and political freedom. Taiwan is a democracy, and it is divided into two political parties. There is the Pan-Blue Coalition, which they believe that the Republic of China is the sole legitimate government of China, and eventually they would like to see reunification between China and Taiwan. And then there is the Pan-Green Coalition, which regards Taiwan as an independent state, and they seek to be completely independent of China, having their own political system and being recognized as an independent nation of Taiwan. Some unique aspects of their culture are unlike the West, they eat breakfast outside of the homes. So where we would get up, eat breakfast, get ready for work, and leave, they would get up, get ready to leave, eat breakfast, then go to work. They prefer warm breakfasts, essentially they would not like the cereal and milk type breakfasts that a lot of people here in the West consume for breakfast. They have an amazing nightlife. It is with the night market. The night market is essentially an outdoor mall. It has street vendors that serve food, trinkets, everything. It's amazing. They have like their own bartering system that they go on there. So something to really look forward to, and something you should look at if you actually go visit Taiwan. Languages they speak. They have two different languages. There is Taiwanese, which, from what my Taiwan friends have told me, is there's Taiwanese, which is spoken like in the house, and then there is Mandarin, which is spoken like on the street, and the business language of the culture. I don't know how many people are bilingual, but that's what they've told me. As for transportation, there's a lot of mopeds, cars, and mostly trains. Trains that are similar to Japan that move very fast, and you can get from one side of the island to the other within hours. They also enjoy very similar things like what we do here in the West, as like with cinema, like movies and dancing and nightclubs and all that type of stuff. There's that constant push from the West. I mean, to be more like the West. Okay, so as for what I would actually put into my culture box, all this stuff I already had, so it was more of just kind of, I didn't buy any of it. Let's see here, what to start off with. National holidays. The biggest one that is well known across the world is Chinese New Year. This is important because a majority of the Chinese, this is like their Christmas. It's nothing like our New Year. It's amazing. They celebrate it. They get like a week off. It's celebrated across the world. They exchange money instead of presents. And there's a lot of street performances, fireworks, and it's beautiful. Another thing that would be different, that you might run across if you were to go to Taiwan, is their clothing. While a lot of them have dressed more like what you would see in the West, there are still those that dressed more in the traditional garbs, and what we think is traditional garbs that they would dress in. For example, the Chinese uniform. A lot of people see this in kung fu movies and want it for, or pick it up after they actually go to Taiwan or China and think it's like their authentic dress. There is also they have, let's see here, another big thing in Taiwan is, or just like the Chinese culture, is calligraphy. And as what we'll see here is we have the brush, and then we have the utensils needed for making the ink and the actual parchment. So you have your ink stone, which you would grind, your ink stick, which you would grind on your ink stone to make ink, and then you would take the brush, dip it, and write. All the other ones I'm not going to get into. It gets kind of complicated. That's kind of the basics. The calligraphy is something that they use like an art form. Like what we would see as painting, they would do calligraphy. It's essentially another way to express someone's kung fu. Other things would be music. So here we have a Chinese flute, and it unlike most flutes, has a reed. So Chinese have a different type of music. They believe that music is something to express feelings, and it doesn't have the same use as just entertainment like what we have here in the West. So I would definitely put a musical instrument into the culture box, or a way of showing it. So like traditional music, even though they do have a huge growing culture of pop music, which is pretty cool. Things you would pick up in the night market. Okay, so this is kind of just small trinket type stuff. Necklaces, you know, dragon, jade pendants, little like bag trinket, like souvenir type stuff, fans. This is a different type of fan than what most people think. It has all the reeds on the inside, but the art on the fan is more unique, which is, I think it's mountains and a temple. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Also with the culture and night market would be the food. They cook a lot in woks. They don't have the same, at least traditionally, they don't have a lot of pots and pans. A lot of their food's just cooked in like a wok. And let's see. Huge is their tea culture. They serve tea everywhere. They love tea. So I would put tea into the realia box. I mean, in my culture box. We have jasmine, oolong, and the teacup. Tea is served everywhere, more so than water. And they have their own customs, like how the etiquette, tea etiquette, that if you were to go over there and you wanted to immerse yourself, you'd want to study. I could get into it, but I don't have time for this video. Another thing that I would put in is the philosophies. Okay, most people say it's religion. It's kind of philosophy, in my opinion. At least for this specific book. Taoism. So, like, the philosophy of how one lives with people. Taoism is how one lives with oneself. How to get to know yourself. And what's your role? What is your purpose in life? That is essentially the philosophy of Taoism. Which is different than, like, than Confucianism. Another thing would be Chinese medicine. Unlike Western medicine, Chinese believe in more of a holistic, how do we prevent the illness from ever occurring, than actually, like, let's treat it after it's already there. So, you know, a book about just, like, here it's showing all the acupuncture points, but that could definitely go into the culture box as well. And personally, because my favorite, which will be the last, is Kung Fu. That is something that if I was teaching about the culture, I could present. I believe all these objects would definitely help the kids get an understanding, or just people get an understanding of what this is very traditional based, but what the traditional Taiwan culture might be like. Thank you.